Yes.
Jamie, oh great.
Jamie, where are you?
I emailed you a few weeks ago. Kevin Cornette's friend. He gave
Oh,
me your contact.
okay, okay.
And then I think I texted you, although I didn't know if I had.
Oh, okay. All right.
Introducing myself.
Oh, just introducing yourself. Okay, I was at all December in South America with the family, so I didn't. I'm probably behind on a lot of things.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming.
I'm on 137th place, so just up the street from Kevin.
Great, 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 great. So I know you guys were talking about. I think you all.
Well, the elephant in the room,
Right.
Kevin's more concerned about what's happening.
So we'll bring it up as a topic of discussion in open forum. We don't have an agenda item for it, but it's one of the things that you definitely want to talk about.
Just a heads up, I was for years president of the Ramona Association.
Okay, okay.
We moved here in 2016.
Oh, okay.
But 08 to 2015, I was
Let Ramona know.
happy to. I have the experience. Well, this is crazy because like you might have people in our neighborhood. So yeah, happy to help.
Yeah, anything that we can do to try and next door is not to get anything done, right?
There's a Wiseburn Watch group. That's where we're going to start.
Yeah.
Heavily involved. 137th place. You know, Kevin Street. We're a block up between shoes. Very popular. Big block party.
Brian Underwood lives there. Yeah.
A lot of lifers actually right across from Brian. It's like 4 or 5 houses have been here for like 40 years. So the women get together and talk. There's a girls' night of the whole block at the house on Friday.
Okay. So I sent, we can talk after the meeting, but I sent Ryan the contact information of the works to start getting this in. Perfect. So that's a start. We're going to invite people to come and talk to us. We still don't know if that's going to protect us. The building would have access to requirements limits.
Dorms. I mean, they're like 200 square foot dorms. Like little efficiencies.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking. For sure. We just did $300,000.
I live on 147, the brick house in the corner.
You did a renovation. It's a super funky house.
Yeah.
The white fence.
Right. That one. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
That was cool. You did it a few years ago. I remember.
Yeah. That's the one.
You have a son.
I have two. Two older now. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's all, yeah, I'm like, that's right. Yeah.
Anyways, we're here, but happy to help is what I'm telling you.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. So you're still there? I thought you were looking to see. No? Okay, good.
We're still there. The kids are in school here.
You're hanging in. Yeah. Yeah, I have one here and one in 6th.
this to go.
What do you need? I'm just down the road.
No, it's too involved. Yes. Yeah. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll do without slides, and you guys will just have to take me at my word.
You want me to run home?
No, I got the wrong laptop, the wrong. It'll take us too long logistics-wise.
You got me?
And Patrick, we're broadcasting? All right. Apologies for the delays, folks. We had some logistics issues with cables tonight, but thank you. So first on the agenda is going to be our welcome to our law enforcement partners, and then we'll do introductions for the rest of our county partners and service provider partners that are joining us tonight. I'm going to leave you with Bill Magoon. Bill, I know you don't like the microphone. I'm going to bring it over to you.
Everybody give a nice warm welcome to California Highway Patrol Lieutenant Catano, Officer Salas. We have from our Sheriff's Department, Lieutenant Salgado, where did he go? There he is, waving. And then we have Deputy Rivas and Ruby, I don't know your last name. I'm sorry? Poole, okay, Deputy Poole. I want to say one more time, thank you to you guys, all of you guys, for the Santa Claus event. It was wonderful, it was great. CHP, you really surprised us all with all your equipment and everything. And Sheriff, thanks for showing up. Our captain has kind of done something for us, which I think is a little bit thinking out of the box. It's been very appreciated. You guys remember way back when we used to have a cops team of actual deputies who did not chase radio calls. They just basically were in the community all the time to deal with quality of life issues. Well, we kind of have the second best thing. These two fine folks here work what's called a no-call car. Basically, they don't chase radio calls. They're here to basically spend some quality time in every neighborhood as much as they can and try to deal with some of our problems that are long-term. So let's give them a round of applause. We love you guys, and we think it's a great concept. Truly, truly do. So moving on, we're going to have questions for these guys. Anybody have any questions they want to ask Highway Patrol, Sheriff? Go. Come on up, guys.
It's for the CHPs. I've seen one person pulled over the rivers on Ocean Day, so I thank you. And I seen another day you guys are patrolling. And these are the first that I've seen in the last 25 to 30 years. Some of these folks especially in the morning.
I have a question. Just one of here, right here on La Cienega, the other side of the freeway, from 135th, maybe about 5 streets down. It's a raceway where people live on cars and on these little motorbike things. So I don't know how frequently you guys are in the area, but it's almost 24/7. It's when children are out there. It's the middle of the night.
Is there like a primary, like a time or day where they're mostly like get together?
I work at home all day, and I have video, which I've sent to multiple people here, multiple times throughout the day.
Yeah, the question was for the people, the audience that's watching is basically La Cienega, which for years has kind of been our racetrack. It's kind of been our, speeding trap for everywhere, and it's always been an issue for years. I know Highway Patrol and Sheriff both do what they can to try to enforce that, but it's always good to let them know that it's an ongoing, continuing problem.
I mean, yeah, put 5 to 7 would be great. Yeah, the mini bikes.
Yeah. Oh, the mini bike terrorists.
They race on both sides of the street, so with oncoming traffic, they'll race, and a lot of it is they'll wait till the light turns green, they'll sit right here on 135th, and as soon as it turns green, they'll race down. So it's the mini bikes, and it's also actual cars.
Harley, I'm glad you brought that up, because the mini bike terrorists will come down 140th My Street between 3:45 and 4 o'clock, westbound to La Cienega, almost daily.
thank you for bringing it up, but I would also like you to make a phone call to the station, right?
Okay,
Call the
sure.
station, and then you notify them, can you have a car come check the area, if there are any bikes racing in the area?
Somebody there, though,
Let's say,
like, isn't
well-
that like 8 to 5?
We're 24 hours a day.
Oh, at the LA station.
Correct. 24 hours a day. So at any time you can call us, and we'll dispatch a car in this area, right?
Yeah.
Or they might be around the corner, and then they'll hear that call, and then they can follow up on it right away, and they might catch them, right? So there's always a time frame, right? If you make the phone call, and if they're on the other side of town, by the time they
Yeah.
get here, they're gone.
Right.
But it's a good possibility they might be here. But
Yeah.
without you making that phone call, we'll never know until you come here to this meeting and we'll know there's that issue, right? They will also follow up on that.
Okay.
But it also documents your call for service, right, regarding this meeting box.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
that problem continues, right,
Yeah.
ongoing problem like with street racing, gets a lot of attention, more resources are added for that particular problem, right? So, but if we don't have any information that shows there's a problem, we can't address it, right?
Absolutely, I mean, I have multiple videos that I've sent to Ms. On, I think is her name, I don't know if she's here, but, I sent her multiple videos because I think.
So give us a call, that way we can deal with the issue, and then
Yeah.
you can still send them to them.
No, I agree, and I will, I think it's also a bigger issue in an ask of like speed bumps or something like that to just deter more.
And that's when
than
you
that.
call, the supervisor of
All Mitchell's
public
office and
works,
everything,
so
yeah.
they can work on speed bumps,
Yeah,
street lighting,
totally.
stop signs, lights and so on.
Okay, but I will call, that's a really good tip, I will, with the entire week, it's almost
Har-
every day.
Harley, go ahead.
We're open 24 hours, and we
Okay.
have people answering the phone 24 hours a day.
Okay,
You might be known as the person that calls, but it's our job to provide a service to you, right?
Like Mr. Mahone said, we're a new unit, pretty much focusing on the community.
Okay.
This is our opportunity to the community, and actually hearing like your guys' concerns. But a lot of the times, like they took us out from the field, so we're pretty much answering calls for service back to back to back. Sometimes we get into the call and we don't see anything, so we leave. But by the time we're done today's meeting, I'll take your information down and I'll generate a patrol check, because we're not here 24/7. We're typically here Wednesday through Saturday. So at least Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, when we're not here, then the other patrol units can swing by during those times. But I will need your information, that way I can notate it, that you're asking for these patrol checks during these times and dates.
yeah, I'm happy to.
And if you're okay with that.
No, I'm happy to. How frequently are you guys just in the area, like this immediate Hollyglen?
So recently, since
Wiseburn
the
area?
Christmas event that we had, Mr. Mahone mentioned La Cienega has been an issue.
Yeah.
So we've been driving up and down La Cienega for the transients, looking for people that are just having a good time in their vehicles.
Yeah.
So that's where we've been focusing most of our attention right now. But like I mentioned, we're here today. We want to hear your guys' concerns and see where the problems are like occurring within Wiseburn.
Great, awesome, thank you.
So we've also taken note of the location. Right now, we do have a directive from our commissioner to initiate what's called special enforcement units, where we send a concentration of units to a specific area
Yeah.
that's experiencing traffic problems. So recently, we did have one. It was last week on the January 18th. And just to kind of give you an idea of what our units were able to do,
Yeah.
we had 7 of our motorcycle officers and 2 car units assigned to this very specific area. Between all of them, they were able to cite 81 citations, issued 24 verbals, and also had 13 community contacts where members of the community were able to come up and thank them for all their efforts. So that's definitely a plus for our guys. It's really a morale booster
Yeah.
when that happens. So we have the location
Okay.
documented, and yeah, we'll follow up on that and bring it up at our next meeting, so maybe we can send some.
That's great. What area specifically were those
For
stats
the
from?
last one, it was B2.
Yeah, exactly. So I actually worked that one. I was one of the car cops that did that detail.
Okay.
So it was everywhere, but from Imperial Highway, from La Cienega to Vermont, from we were going down Western, Budlong, all the speeders, Normandy. So just like the unincorporated, West Athens region, but we still hit up Lenox, and we're just concentrating on moving violations, reckless driving, people, running stops, stuff like that, as the lieutenant said.
Yeah, 'cause I'm sure it's been shared with you, the stop sign right here on the corner by the school consistently gets, like crossing guards almost get run over during school time, so I don't know how frequently you guys are
think it's important for you guys to know that we actually have to share our resources with Highway Patrol as well as Sheriff. There are other patrol areas that they have to deal with as well. So it's, you know, they're here when they can be. I am almost in daily contact with Charles Roquet or Jaime Gonzalez, you know, our two CHP cops officers. I talk to those guys a lot.
'Cause it's
This guy
Hawthorne
too, you
too,
know?
right?
Huh?
I'm just saying, it's half Hawthorne, half,
No.
No.
Or no.
So,
No.
and just to clarify, with the area that we're talking about today is the unincorporated area behind you. Wiseburn is, right, south of El Segundo, north of Rosecrans, all right, west of east of Louisiana, right, west of Inglewood. So this is the area that CHP.
Yeah,
Right.
Hawthorne has their own police department. Oh, they got their own issues. Harley, go ahead, your question.
There's so much there. So, I've lived on Los Angeles since 1998, so I know you're really new, not that new. So it's so much better than it used to be.
Oh,
I know it
okay.
sounds horrible, but it is so much, maybe that's why I'm kind of like, you know, anyway, she's absolutely right about the mini bikes and the racing, but also, and I don't know how much you noticed, but being that I live next to the freeway and I'm in my yard 24/7 with my dogs, there's a lot of freeway stuff too. So I differentiate what's on the freeway sometimes. I swear I wouldn't know, and I run out there and it's like, wait, oh, I thought it was on the freeway, or wait, no, I thought it was on Los Angeles, it was on the freeway. So we should call about the freeway ones too, because there is a lot of racing going on that strip from Rosecrans to El Segundo. We can hear it on the freeway, so I can hear the revving and the racing. So I should call about that as well.
Definitely, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And having a cops team is way better than anything we can get done with the county. And the fact that we have a cops, I'm calling it a cops.
Yeah,
team.
it's
We had
the
a
next best
team
thing, you know?
when we
Yeah.
started the watch originally, and it was the most important thing to help us get on fire. And the CHP captain actually, like, we had a whole team, and it was amazing. And so to have this again is huge
Welcome,
for
guys, yeah.
us. Thank you.
Do you guys notice a little change, a little shift in in kind of the winds here? Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
I credit a lot of what's being said over here and what's being done to our new captain. I truly do, you know? She's a little different.
We also joined the South Bay Task Force, the drunk driving task force. So we also see Hawthorne, Gardena, Torrance, El Segundo, any of those agencies driving around in all of the South Bay area. Because it's a task force and they're out there looking for drunk drivers. So they may come into the Wiseburn area, right, whenever that operation is going, so don't be surprised or wondering why they're here. But they're doing that enforcement. So doing that task force gives us more vehicles, more patrolling, right? So it's another addition to the same thing that we're trying to do with the cops, right? Getting more law enforcement in our areas. And it's pretty successful when they join up like that.
On La Cienega, when it turns to 129, there's a lot of cars, since the county decided we couldn't have the bumps anymore, a lot of cars are straddling the line, and there's gonna be head-on collisions like there used to be when I first moved in.
Dots.
The dots.
The bot dots, yeah, the bot dots are gone.
They only, we used to have stripes that deterred a lot of people from racing there and stuff. Now they're racing their tire screech marks on a regular basis. And, a lot of cars are crossing the line and straddling it. So you've got head-on collisions about to happen multiple times a day. And so it's concerning because people, I won't give names because I don't want anger from my neighbors. But they are parking in the red zone, which makes it really hard to see as you're coming around, and it forces, as the street narrows, somebody's gonna get hit. I had trouble getting in my drive the other day because they had double parked.
Have you ever thought of trying to get that street as like, yeah, because you could get around that street. Did you ever try to get that end street where you are?
So, enforcement, right? I mean, yeah, yeah.
While you're worried about La Cienega, well, what takes us further into
So-
the major Toronto? We used to have head-on collisions. They put the dots to slow everybody down and half the traffic went somewhere else. They took out the dots when they refurbished the street, people couldn't do the same. So now we're back to having your head-on collision.
I notated that, so we'll definitely, I'll notify Officer Gonzalez and Roque to check out that area.
You
Start
want to do it
taking
early, and in the evening, because the owner of most of the cars parked along there runs business out of his home. And so the trucks are gone during the day.
cut.
Anybody else? Questions? We're good? Moving on?
Thank you.
You, has he got the crime stats up there?
I can't, we can't project, Bill. Do you want to talk about them?
The projectors are not working?
No, the cables, I had a miss on the cables.
Did you guys see all the crime stat numbers in the email I sent?
Yes.
Okay, everybody saw them, any questions on that? Because apparently the video's not, the projector's not working.
Thank you for sending me.
Questions, comments, we're all good there, too?
Thank you, officers. So next on the agenda, we have county updates and school district updates. Ara's a little bit under the weather, so she's not going to be joining us tonight. From the school district, we have Jason Hasty joining us. Jason is the assistant superintendent. He wears many hats: assistant superintendent, chief business official, and so we're happy to have him to give us a quick update on the school district. Yeah. Okay.
Good afternoon, or good evening, sorry. Yeah, so first of all, I want to send, Dr. Silvers did want to be here, and he would be attending. He's at a week-long conference up north, so I am in his stead. So I do want to give an update. We do have, just to let you know, this summer, we're going to start the solar project for Wiseburn Unified. So we have, and I'm really excited about it because it's going to be a major project across the district. So we have our junior high, middle school, Wiseburn Middle School. We have our 3 elementary schools. And throughout the summer, we're going to be converting these parking lots that are these school parking lots to the canopy solar. So then that was going to be a huge reduction in savings and costs, not just for the immediate, but up until 20 years and even on thereon, where we'll have a big reduction to overall cost to the district with, savings of energy. Another piece, the Del Air, you're going to see our, as some might call ANZA, at Del Air Elementary School. We are going to be redoing the roof there, and so that whole roof is going to get replaced. It's one of our bond projects, and so that'll be something, if you're wondering what we're spending our bond money, that's going to be really visible this summer. So if you see a lot of trucks and we're closing down the parking lot to get things going there, that's what's happening at the Del Air, along with they'll be doing the solar project as well. And then I know a lot of people have been wondering probably about the sports complex as well, and that's the aviation green screen as we know it. Right now, we are still working on the design piece. That's been pretty much finalized. And then what we'll see there is that construction will start February of 2025. And so really going into next year, that's when you're going to start seeing the trucks moving in and real construction, and that is due to be completed by October of 2025. Yes? Yes, it was. I don't have it on me, but it was on our board meeting. We did. The board did discuss it and voted on it. So, yes, it'll be on our. It's on our website. If you go to the wiseburn.org website and go to where the board items are, you can find our the board where that was presented. And so, just to give you an idea, that will be a turf sports complex with 2 fields. One's baseball, one's softball, and then of course we'll have a full soccer field as well there that will be used by the district and the community. Yes.
So the facility where Dana's, I guess, where the Wiseburn School District has area there.
Yep.
Wiseburn Little League coach for many years.
Yes.
So I'm obviously excited to see a facility where we're not immediately on the school grounds and have to navigate when we're allowed to be there, maintenance sharing through either the school or ourselves. That facility, will the Little League have access to it irrespective of school hours or anything like that? Do we have our own direct access?
Typically, It most likely will work like with the other fields we have now, because I know Little League for right now has access to the baseball field at Wiseburn Middle School. We have a facility use agreement we do with the different entities, and so, for instance, that one would be after school, starting at 4, and into the evening.
We're not allowed on school grounds, obviously, because you have adults walking around with
Yeah.
children while they're in school. Nobody wants that, so we have to wait until school is out to gain access to that. So early drills, practices, or anything during the summer is completely limited.
Yeah, can't guarantee the usage at this point, because we won't know, because we'll still have impacts going on throughout the district, but we're definitely gonna have to prioritize the school programs and possibly maybe Da Vinci to some degree, what programs they need, and then we'll have to work the schedule around that. But again,
Will the baseball field be a full 90-foot?
I think it's gonna be good for middle school. I need to confirm that. It'll be good for the middle school program. Yeah.
Which means you'll have to wait
Yeah.
for the former middle school coach.
Yeah.
Is the solar initiative here, was that funded by the bond measure? or-
No, we did what's called a tax municipal lease, and that's separate funding. We worked with a company called Site Logic, and the way that works, it's over a 20-year period. It's about $10 million. And so what we do is we get savings from we call it an offset from what we're getting from the solar. We'll pay off the lease over time. And so it's not a bond project.
It's the way people put panels on but don't actually.
Exactly.
own them.
But the difference is this is a lease purchase agreement, so at the end of that lease, the district will own that property. Okay? Yep. Any other questions? Okay. The other one, Wiseburn Soccer Field, that's over the Da Vinci School where our district office is. That's due to start May 2024, and we're looking at completing that around August 2024. So that's going to happen pretty quickly over the next year. So again, that might affect overall field space and, how we utilize and make reservations.
Is that turf?
Yes, that will be turf, yes. And then another project we'll be doing, this is going to be January 2025. We're going to be doing the Hollyglen right here. It's going to be a TK conversion project, and so that's a bond project as well. So Wiseburn Soccer Field is a bond project, the TK conversion, because we are seeing an influx of TK students, so we're going to be expanding our TK program for the district as well. And the sports complex is a bond project, and of course the Del Air roof. The only one that's not a bond project is that solar project. Yes?
Last question on the sports complex. Will it be a full-service snack bar?
Full service.
Grill, hot dogs?
So we have one now, and it's not really utilized like it should. So that'll be probably a discussion towards the end, depending on where we are with the money. So based on what I know of our current snack bar at Wiseburn Middle School and how it's utilized, I would say it should have potential, but I don't know about all the equipment that's in there. Should that be available? Because a lot of people just don't use it. We have 3 different groups that use it, and they bring in their own coolers and things like that. So to be determined there. Yes.
I'm not sure if this is the same part, but sports center, what's happening right on 135th and Aviation?
Yes, that's what I'm talking. That's the sports complex. Yes.
You said that will be completed when?
Right here, I'm just saying we will start construction February 2025. So, and then it would end that October. That's the timeline. It'll have a baseball field, a softball field, and a soccer field. Yeah.
With public access or?
Yeah. It's amazing. The design, if you look on the website and the board, it's a really tight design, but it's really well done.
Take a look at the link that I sent this afternoon on Measure E. There's a map, a rendition of what it looks like on there. Yeah, one of those links.
The turf will be open this year?
Oh, no. Sports complex, it will be February 2025. We're starting. It'll be completed by October 2025. That's the sports complex. So there's a soccer field at Da Vinci, the Wiseburn High School. That's the soccer field. That's going to be done sooner. Yeah. Got it.
Sports center have public access or is it only for students?
It will be the sports complex on Aviation. It would be reserved through facility use agreements with the entities. So open public access, I can't say that at this point.
Track like Aviation Boulevard?
I don't think there'll be a track like that to walk based on that, but it would most likely would be used through facility use agreements with the entities in the community.
The school district owns it, the property?
Yes.
Everything that happens?
Correct. Okay. I want to thank everybody, and it's great to, yes? Are we talking about where the current preschool, like off ISIS? Hollyglen Park. No, I'm not.
The homes are now.
Got it. Was that a district property, a school district property?
It was a long time ago.
Okay. I was not aware, but, no. So, got it. Wow, okay. Well, thank you guys, appreciate it. Okay, take care.
All right. So we have about a dozen people online, so that's why I was stressing to come up to the mic and speak loud so they can appreciate and listen to the conversation. So next, I'll invite our partners from Public Works, Chris Shepard, as well as Michelle Newsham, to introduce her team from UWS and give a status of where we are. I'd like to hear, before they barrage you with questions, I want to hear from you guys how you feel our service area is. What's your perception from where you started to where we are today? Is it improving? So before you hear, because obviously the folks here have, one way or the other, right, have a vested interest in hearing from you. But I want to hear what your perception is before the questions start in terms of how you see things flowing in terms of service provision. Yeah? All right, come on.
Sounds good. Thanks, Eddie. Thanks, everybody, for having us again. My name's Chris Shepard. I'm with LA County Public Works. I'm a principal engineer with our Environmental Programs Division, and we are responsible for trash collection and recycling programs throughout all the unincorporated areas of Los Angeles County. So we've been here a few times throughout since the transition last year in October, which was a bit of a rocky transition, but we've been working hard with UWS, our partners, to resolve many of the issues that you brought up, things like cart exchanges and cart quality issues, timing of routes and trucks coming by on time and not missing pickups, cart exchanges, swapping out all the old carts with new carts, things like that. So I did have some numbers to share with you today. So one of the things we had mentioned at the last couple of meetings is there's a couple different options to call in for service, right? You can always call UWS directly and request service for things like missed pickup or bulky item collection, things of that nature. But then also if you're experiencing any other issues, if you want to report illegal dumping and things like that, you can contact Public Works directly. We have a couple ways you can do that. Through the Works app online, you can submit service requests for illegal dumping, graffiti issues, bulky item pickup. We also have a hotline, two hotlines actually, 888-DUMPING and 1-888-CLEAN-LA, where you can call us directly. And so those are the stats I have today. So over the last 6 months, specifically from the Wiseburn community, we've received 35 calls. 27 of those calls were related to illegal dumping. A lot of those along La Cienega Boulevard there by the edge of the freeway, where we know there's some dumping issues there. Of those 35 calls, there were also 4 collection-related incidents related to pickup issues, and 2 bulky item requests, and 2 other incidents, which may have been a missed pickup or something else. We have a broad category there. Over the last month, we've had 11 calls to our hotline. 10 of those were illegal dumping related, and 1 was related to a bulky item, which was probably a mattress or something like that on the side of the road. So for reference, the La Cienega corridor is actually designated as a hot zone. And when we designate a corridor like that as a hot zone for illegal dumping, it gets daily monitoring by UWS. And so whenever they see something out there, they'll pick it up. There are times in between when they're out there that they won't have picked something up, so that's when we get the reports and the calls in, and then within 48 hours, they'll be out there to pick up that item. So from the calls that we're getting in, from what we're seeing, we're back to more routine illegal dumping related issues, but and so I do see improvement. I'll let Michelle talk about the improvements that they've made, but we're here tonight because we're committed to hearing from you about what you're seeing. Are you seeing the improvement? What's your experience been? Where are more improvements needed? And what can we do with our partners to fix any issues that you're still experiencing? So let Michelle chime in, and then we'll do questions.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Michelle Newsham, Universal Waste. I see a lot of familiar faces here, so good to see you guys again. Tonight, I brought some other people with me to help answer some questions. So I have Victor, he's our operations manager. I have Freddie, who is the operations manager for this service area. I have Stevie, our customer service manager, and Catherine is our liaison that just helps out with everything where we need her. So I'm going to kind of let Victor I'm gonna start with just having you guys ask questions, and then we're gonna let you know, where we've improved and what we're doing to make improvements for you guys. So, start asking, go ahead.
James O'Grady, I live on 4906 West 137th Place, between Ocean Gate and Shoup. Just a general comment and then a question. Comment is certainly a rocky start.
Yes.
Way better now. Okay.
Yes.
So far, so good. Our biggest issue was the green cans kept getting thrown away by the machine, and then off he goes. And then having to prove to customer service that this was indeed the case, like with our driveway security cameras or something,
Right.
as if we're in the business of stealing green cans. I don't know,
You're not.
but that was always the suspicion that somehow we're trying to get one over on you guys for a green can. But my question, I think, was more towards the county, is if this is a hot zone and we still have LA County Sheriff here, what is the probability of prosecution for illegal dumping? And then maybe that really is the surgery that it needs, not the Band-Aid. Is there a success rate on that? Is that a hot zone for sheriff as well?
That's a great question, and you have touched on one of the fundamental challenges we have with illegal dumping right now. We've gotten good at picking it up, and we've put in provisions to pick it up. Enforcing against it to stop the root of the problem is still a challenge. There's a challenge of having people out there at the right time and the right place to see it happen, because it's not necessarily predictable, although we're having a few locations where it's so frequent that we can actually start to do that. And then the other challenge is that even when we catch someone and cite them, it needs to go to the DA for prosecution of the crime, and that doesn't always happen either. And then the fines are very minimal, and in order for them to escalate, they need to have reoccurring convictions. So if you don't ever get that first conviction, you don't get the reoccurring convictions, and you don't get an escalating fine. And so there's actually a working group in the county where we coordinate with the Sheriff's Department, with our Public Health Department, with regional planning to work on these legal dumping issues, and we're actually coordinating with the DA's office to pursue legislation at the state level to change some of those penalties and.
One second, I apologize. Listen to what he's saying. Very, very, very important. Prosecuting people can be challenging, can be difficult.
Well, it's an
There is an
election.
election coming up.
Yes, there is.
Our DA is going to be on, our supervisor is going to be on. A lot of other things. Think, people. Think what you want. What you want to see where you live. What's the quality of your life. Understand what these people stand and what they stand for. Cast your vote out in the community. How do you believe?
So all of this
Listen to what he's
issue,
saying.
this feeds through LA County District Attorney?
Yeah.
And
The-
that's where it literally just dies.
That's basically what it blows up.
That's where it
Well,
dies.
Exactly. Think about it.
so I.
This is like,
His words, not yours.
Yeah, not my, yeah, so the DA is part of our working group. They work closely with us. We're working on solutions to try to improve conviction rates. So actually, we have an annual,
security footage from people on, like Harley who's just here, she's right on that corridor.
yes, so thank you for bringing that up, because that's really what we need. Even just to have our partners in the sheriff help investigate the issue. Like when we get the call, it's a mattress already or something on the side of the road. We pick up the pile, right? But we didn't see the person. So if you have a camera that caught them, or if you know the time and the day and the location, any evidence you have, if you're able to safely, without approaching anyone or catch a picture or something of a license plate, then we can share with the sheriff for them to investigate further. That's when they'll put something together that can go to the district attorney's investigator's office, and they can decide whether or not to pursue it further. A lot of these end in what's called an office visit, where they find the person, they call them in, they issue them a court fine, and that's it, and it doesn't go much further than that. But we do have, again, repeat cases. We have bigger locations in the Antelope Valley where people are dumping on private property, like massive dump trucks load of stuff. So we are working to try to improve that enforcement, and evidence like cameras and pictures is super helpful if you can get that.
Same, I want to give UWS huge kudos. I'm only on one street, I'm only 36, but huge improvement. We were having drivers that break our trash cans and then take off, and we literally were chasing them down the street, making them turn they're supposed to be, like, a lot better, so thank you.
And I give kudos to our team for that
Thank
out
you.
there, because Freddie's out there daily, making sure to catch all those things.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Of course. Question, is your team responsible for the signs that are all over our community, say like slow down in the middle of the street? Or
Public,
No.
Public Works is, but not
Yeah.
my division, so I don't see, our normal, we have a community liaison from our government services group. Pamela Manning is the rep now, I believe. And so, but for tonight, consider me Public Works if you have a concern about
There are
traffic.
tickets open for 136 and
Yeah.
134.
You can,
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering,
Yeah,
like, the
they-
maintenance,
they-
like, who's maintaining those, because there's some that are like busted up and
So,
broken and falling apart.
That works link is how they do
Same.
work. It issues a ticket for dumping potholes, broken street
Yep.
signs.
if you see that street sign, just bring up the app,
Yeah.
snap a picture, it sends a work order with GPS. It's The Works,
The
it's
Works
called.
app.
It's a mobile phone app,
The Works
The
app,
works.
The Works.
and that is specific
Public
to LA
Works.
County,
LA County Public Works.
LA County and
Android and Apple.
Android and Apple. It
Download
lets
on
you
your
take a
phone.
picture, GPS, geolocate what you're complaining about. We get potholes repaired.
Yeah.
Those Vision Zero signs are gonna be repaired in the next 48 hours probably.
Just while we're on that topic, neighbors doing heavy construction Sunday morning,
Code enforcement.
Code enforcement.
and that app will.
Yep.
Let you track it and provide you status on the ticket.
Put in the address.
The works. The works.
If you in the
It's on
App Store,
public-
just search for
LA
The
County Public
Works, and you'll see LA County Road.
You have a link to it in email. If you're subscribed to the mailing list, it went out. If not, you should sign in. This email will add you to it. It's a really good app because it lets you enforce and it lets you report with your name and phone number and anonymously as well, so that you don't have to add your contact info to it. Mona.
So that broken street sign, if you have it, you just take a picture and tag it, and it'll go right to our traffic folks.
I have a question, because I've noticed at my end, the same location is being done multiple times. It happens to be in front of a house, but 2 or 3 days later, you see new stuff showing up. Have you guys been, sorry, Ms. Harris, are you tracking the physical location each time and looking for patterns? Because it's amazing how much dumping is happening in front of this one house.
Yes, we are. So a couple things happen with that. So when there's dumping in front of specific houses, sometimes what it'll be is it'll be a resident who's not calling in for a bulky item pickup. And so what we usually start with is if we suspect that's the case, we'll work with UWS to actually knock on the door and leave a notice and remind them of the procedures for calling in a bulky item pickup to make sure they're aware. There are other times where that type of incident then attracts other people who are dumping and they find a spot and they just keep dumping there too. So we are tracking the data statistically all over the county of all these things, and so that's what helps us identify specific hot spots for daily monitoring within the waste hauling contracts. But then we're also, resources are slim, as I'm sure you hear from everybody, but we are targeting specific areas to do some pilots where we're looking at camera enforcement to try to deter dumping. And we're just looking to launch it this year. It's not finalized and approved yet, but as soon as we get approval and start rolling it out, we'll be looking at spots like you mentioned for potential temporary camera placements.
I mean, from a county expense standpoint, this wouldn't be a line item for them, but for a nuisance as a citizen or a community, the money spent cleaning it up, following up, knocking on doors, couldn't we spend that money with a camera system that's permanent, knowing that the side of the 405 is just a magnet for that type of activity, which makes prosecution, like if you make a left on Rosecrans and Hindry, you are getting a ticket in the mail. Whether it's enforceable or not, you are getting a ticket in the mail. Everybody knows it, and no one will blow that light. So if something shows up to the house of the person that dumped there in that same fashion, I guarantee it all stops, because the word will get out that that's being watched.
Yep, and you hit the nail on the head. It is a line item for them. It's in the contract. They charge us for the pickups of illegal dumping, and because we have to pay by the ton to dispose of that stuff in the landfill. So it's all a cost. It's costing us a lot of money, and so as part of the pilot, we're working to prove out those costs that, hey, this is way more cost effective to have a camera set up to do this and actually catch people and have evidence to prosecute versus just continuing to pick up the dumping that's repetitive over and over.
It definitely seems like a law enforcement issue.
It's a challenge out there,
At this stage.
yeah.
It's three aspects that we like to point to. Education, making sure people know the right place to take stuff and know the requirements.
Dumping in grass in the forest, I think we're past, that's not okay, right?
We hope. Eradication, where we go and pick it up, it's in all our contracts, so we can go get it when it happens. And then enforcement. And so we've identified that as the lack, and that's where we're focusing our efforts now. So you're spot on. I can continue to just provide updates too on how we're doing with that, but again, we have a working group, so we're making some progress. It's just, a little slow sometimes, so.
And we handle hot zone areas that we know are big problems. They are out there every day trying to conquer those and make sure we get those cleaned up. But there's times that they can go to one area, pick it up in the morning, and by the afternoon, it looks like we didn't do anything. I mean, it's that bad out there. And not only that, but the stuff that they have to pick up, and it's putting our staff.
It's hazardous.
It's absolutely hazardous. I went out there with them on a walkthrough of stuff, and I was just, could not believe what I was seeing, and that our team has to pick that up. But we're doing it and trying to help the community and keep it clean, but it is a challenge.
This is like as hazardous as street racing. Like, it's
Yes.
time to, I take it up a notch, I think, to whatever that is.
And so just so you know, so there is a procedure. So when we send them out and they get there and there's needles or used oil or other things that are, they can't pick that stuff up. So then that's when our road crews get involved. And we have a specialized hazardous waste contractor that we have to schedule to get out there too as quickly as possible. That's an added cost, additional cost. They have to handle that material. And so it's
I just have to ask, if we paid one officers an annual salary with whatever they make, right? And I bet you it would cost the same or less than what the net, and just literally pay him $100,000 a year to park there, and then that would be cheaper than everything that you're describing: hazardous material cleanup, office visits, sending the trucks out. When you add that up, I guarantee it's more expensive than just paying a law enforcement officer to sit there for 365 days a year.
But the problem is, if he's there, they're gonna go somewhere else and do it.
But so
And then
that's
they can do that, right?
yeah.
But then we're not paying that. And it's still a net positive to us.
Well, and that's where the cameras really are appealing to us because they have the potential. We're exploring mobile units that are very movable. So water balloon, right? As you squeeze and it goes somewhere else, but we can deter and hopefully eliminate in certain places, and then we can relocate to any place where it's popped up or somewhere where it's still persisting, and then relocate again. And so as we start to roll this out over the year and identify some more locations, we'll be coming to these meetings, we'll be sending out information. There'll be a lot of public outreach before we deploy in any particular neighborhood, because we want you to know what that is, right? Oh, what's this thing? Who's spying on me? And none of that, right? So it's all about the public right of way and deterring illegal dumping and keeping the community clean is our main focus.
So when we see the trash trucks out here in Wiseburn, other than Mondays, they're out picking up junk probably.
Yeah. There's a couple reasons it could be there.
We have
Doing missed
up
pickup
to-
routes.
On your service days, we have up to 9-10 trucks here within your area. Our service trucks plus our car delivery trucks, plus our trucks that pick up all your bulky items, plus the truck that runs the hot zone. So we have multiple. We have pretty good coverage in your area on your service days. And now when your service days, after we use those assets somewhere else. But, we have our hot zone that we run daily, which is, as Chris already described through the whole, Segundo? Yeah.
Freddie would know that. He's the one out here.
And if you ever see Freddie's our fuel guy, who drives in the white pickup, please pull him over. You have a concern, we encourage you to stop him and talk to him. And he's a great asset for you. You can always, if there's a need that you don't have to call in, something's simple, I see something going on, please share that with Freddie. He's more than happy to help.
It's been great. It was I think it was a pretty rocky start.
It was.
The transition.
It
but
was.
everything has been
We
really-
have no doubt, we
Yeah.
are there with
Yeah,
you, but
we-
I think, not to interrupt you, but, this is our third time here in hearing you guys and taking back your concerns and everything to the team and seeing what they have done. Again, I give them kudos for that, because we are listening to everybody's concerns. Some of them we can't fix overnight or even in a week, but we are giving our best and doing everything to improve those things for you guys. Always, daily, we're trying that. Freddie's like, he's out there, and he sees something, has carts in the back of his truck. If he sees a broken wheel, he's trying to get that before you have to make that call in. But sometimes it happens, you have to call. And, you know, mind you, we have over 14,000 residents we service in the South Bay, so we can't get to everybody every single day, but we will do our best to get to you guys, you know, within a timely manner. But thank you for the feedback, and again, we'll continue to come here, and, you know, like I said, you give us your feedback, I take it back, and we want to fix those things for you guys all the time.
Any other questions for you? Yes, Derry.
Michelle,
Yes.
I brought this up twice to you about the guy that dumps the trash, the black van.
Mm-hmm.
He never, ever returns the van to the curb. And I don't understand. The guys that do the green and the blue, no problem. But the guy that does the trash has never, ever, and like it was raining on Monday. And I don't have rainbows. So I got my big one. And that just aggravates me.
What street do you live on? What street do you live on?
Huh?
What street do you live on?
137th place.
37th place.
When do you come around? Do you come around on Mondays?
Yes.
About what time?
Could be the morning, the afternoon, but
Because
I spend most of my day here. Just going
the
around
trash
the
usually
street.
is first when it comes on 8 o'clock.
Well, keep in mind too, when it does rain, sometimes on the curb, the waterway,
I understand.
you know, and I'm not excusing it, but I know at times they don't like to place them right against the curb because then it halts the water and that's when cans start moving, start hitting vehicles. So, but, you know, now you told me where you live, I know who the driver is, so I'll have a conversation with them. But for the most part, I'm here, like, all day, basically.
Yeah, you say, he drives a white pickup truck.
Yeah.
He drives a white pickup truck. You see it, stop him, say hi to him, the more they have to help
The
you.
last 2 weeks, I was driving around, picking up Christmas trees, you know.
Does he catch speeders too?
We can put a light on his truck.
You know, some of the challenges that we do have.
Step up to the mic, Freddie, so that there are about a dozen people online that are listening to this, couldn't make it, so, yeah. Get some video time.
Yeah.
So they recognize you too, Freddie.
Okay, so it's not a big problem, but I just want you guys to know, just to have patience with our guys. Some of the streets are narrow, and when we're on a street, we don't want to block anybody, you know. But I know at times our drivers do feel, you know, some tension when there's cars behind honking, and, you know, trust me, we just want to go down the street, service all the cans that are out, safest, most efficient way possible. So, you know, they wanted me to relate that information back. And other than that, I mean, everything is smooth. As soon as they're out here, you know, if the cans are out, please have the cans out, preferably the night before, you know, and try to keep them, you know, away from the vehicles, 1 foot. If you can, I know because of parking restrictions, I know it's kind of tough in some streets. The drivers have been instructed to get out of the truck and grab them. But for the most part, it's a pleasure serving you guys.
I have a question. There's somebody on our street that has their bins out and there's a lock on it. So nobody can put their trash in, but they never bring their trash cans out. They just leave it right on the street and they lock it. Nobody can put that in. Like, whose issue is that?
Two things with that. You can get a locking bin if you want, so if you're asking if you can get a locking bin, but for someone who leaves their
No, it's not
cart
parking.
on the street, yeah,
They
so
just
they're
park there.
reserving a parking spot with you.
Yeah.
So that's not allowed. It's code enforcement and it's public health code enforcement. So if you give us the specific address, we have a direct contact with the group in public health who handles that issue. They will actually schedule time, go to the house, leave a notice, talk to the resident, and make sure they know that the code doesn't allow them to leave the cans out more than 72 hours, I believe it is. And so they'll cite them if they don't bring it in. So if you can share afterwards the address to the location with me, we'll have public health come out and leave a notice. And sir, you had a question in the back.
I do.
Tim, yeah.
It's about an incident happened in November, December last year on 138th and Inglewood. It was a mattress that was there for a long time. And it appeared, and I left it there just to see what would happen, right? And nothing happened. It was propped up against a commercial building, sitting there. So about 3 weeks later, I went to the Works app, and I placed a complaint. They forwarded it on to whoever it goes to. I waited again. Nothing happened. So I went back to the Works app. I filed another complaint and referenced the first one, because I guess they just close them out. Once they forward them, I guess they close them out. Anyway, it led to phone calls, weeks and weeks. We had to deal with the holiday, with this mattress that is now deteriorating out there because of the weather. It took an enormous amount of time, in my opinion, probably close to 2 months before that mattress was gone. So I don't know if there's patrols going around or what's going around. Eventually, a gentleman, I don't know if you drive a white truck, showed up in a white pickup truck, unmarked, and threw it in the back of the truck and left. I don't know what it was. But it could have been, okay, so it took an enormous amount of time, communication problems. I got a few phone calls back at first from people. I don't have the names. One lady called me back, hey, I'm kind of walking out of the office. Okay, let me talk to you anyway. And then, I don't know if it was you, but Chris called me, but I never got any call back even. Even if they picked it up, which I'm glad it was you guys, there was no follow-up. Not even after, and the only reason why, I placed complaint after complaint, after phone call after phone call. I got no email, I got nothing saying that you guys picked it up, even. And I would imagine after all of this, somebody would have called me back and said, hey, we're here, we got it, we'll take care of things, make it work better. I don't know what it was. But when you picked it up, I don't know if you remember it, it was in pretty bad shape. It was falling apart. And it probably wasn't in great shape when it went out there, but it was definitely deteriorating by the time it got picked up. And it was blocking the sidewalk. It was just atrocious. Shouldn't have been there.
Did you call our office by chance? Or just?
I went to Works, and then through Works, it might have been your office, somebody called me
It would have
back.
been our office, yeah. So I'll follow
So-
up with our team, we'll find out what happened with that. And
Right.
make sure
And you
that's
can
correct.
always call customer service and let us know, hey,
Right.
there's something abandoned here, can you guys
Could be.
schedule it?
I got used to be honest with you, the app, it works pretty good most of the time. So that's kind of my go-to. I can get out there, I can get it done, I can take pictures, but it failed for some reason. Maybe they got it somewhere, but somewhere in the chain, it didn't work.
So we have had some issues recently, so we've been working, so one of the things we created within the app is we have a couple different systems going on, and one is we call it the trash monitoring program, it's called the TMP, and so we've been working to set it up to automatically route stuff to the haulers. And so we've been working on access issues with that with the team at UWS and their ability to get to things. There's a possibility, again, not to make excuses, but there's a possibility that during that time frame, it could have slipped through the cracks in automatic transfer to the hauler. Our team may have thought that someone had it and was handling it, and it may never have gotten through. So what I'd like to do is get some more specifics. If I could jot down the location and stuff like that, we'll look into it, see if we can find out what exactly happened in this case.
Sure.
It does happen from time to time, but we're committed to making it work and to getting a much more rapid response out there for you on those app
All right.
requests.
I appreciate it.
Another thing that you mentioned that people may have noticed is we do have a response. So when the request gets routed, it does send an auto email that says, please allow 48 hours for this to be picked up. And so you clearly waited patiently, and it didn't happen to that effect. I know sometimes we do get requests, people wonder, oh, looks like this is closed out, even though it's still there on the side of the street. And just so that people know, in general, when it's working properly, it still may take 48 hours for
Correct.
an item to be picked up from the side of the road. So.
Now, normally you do cruise around, so if you came across that, you would have just had it picked up or called somebody to pick that mattress up? Is that how it works?
Yeah, I'll call into dispatch.
If you happen to see it.
So we can get it routed.
Okay.
But what I do is I know you guys like to go through whatever avenue through the county, but I encourage you to call our customer service team, because that will allow us to document it in our system. So when the driver is out here, it's actually routed to his route sheet. So he actually has it, and he has the address for him to pick up. So, and I encourage you to call in, you know, illegal dumping that you see somewhere, even if it's at a neighbor's house or at a corner spot. Yeah, just call it in and I can guarantee we'll pick it up.
Yeah. I would almost follow up both ways, if you're gonna continue with that, but maybe also Stevie's gonna leave you our customer service email to email, you can email us too. Because eventually from them it gets to us anyway, so yeah, if you hit both of us, and, you know, we will make sure it gets taken care of.
Are you doing or working on anything to increase the durability of the cans?
So I'll speak on that.
Yeah.
So give you some insight. So, you know, it just so happened that your transition were coming up. We fell, as everybody did, you know, subject to the challenges of getting quality material. So, you know, we're not blaming anybody as a vendor, we're not saying anything, we're just saying is that, you know, we realized that the quality of the cans that you had weren't what they needed to be. So that took some time to get that evolved, to get those changed out. We worked on that with the manufacturer, we fixed all that, so now that shouldn't be going forward. But it just so happened at the time when we were doing the conversion, it was like a double whammy for us.
Oh, so between the original cans, there's a new version?
Yes.
It was disheartening because Toter is the brand that your carts are from, and they're one of the best well-known companies that all haulers use for their carts, but it's not just us that are having an issue, with other haulers as well. But it was because they've been the top in the industry for many, many years.
Yeah, so, you know, manufacturing, getting the right equipment, putting it out there, it took a long time for manufacturers to get. We'd order cans, we'd order barrels, take months to get a barrel, you know, just production manufacturing issue. It happened throughout the United States, and we were no different than anybody else when that came to that.
Okay, well, I'll wait to embrace again, but ask her on the Blue Master.
And we'd be more than happy to replace it, just give us a call. We'd be more than happy to replace it.
And as I mentioned, Freddie looks for that stuff when he's out in the field, again, to try and be proactive so you guys don't have to call in. But, you know, if you do, just call him, let us know, and we'll get it taken care of.
By chance, do you guys have any kind of, bin cleaning service, or that's all third party?
We don't,
Cleaning the
no.
bins?
No, we don't.
No, that's just our responsibility.
Yes, third party.
No. So it's a third party, but the contract includes bin cleaning service that you can request at a cost, right? Once per year? Steve? Okay. For the
Green only.
green
once a
only.
year.
Yeah.
And then we're hosing out the other two on our own.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. And then where do we request, just call?
Just
your
call customer
button?
service, yeah. And that's why we, you know, Freddie mentioned this the other day too, is it's important in your recycle bin and your green carts to bag as much as you can, because that's gonna help keep the odor down, it's gonna help keep it clean. And he also mentioned it also helps, like in your, you know, if you have put shredding paper in your recycle, when they're dumping the carts, it's gonna eliminate any spillage from the cart to go out. So always try and bag everything up if you can.
I don't know how long ago, months ago, could have been a year ago, somebody dropped off a can, it's like this big, and it's green. And I'm supposed to be doing something with
You
this?
are. So
What am I supposed to be doing?
That is the kitchen pail.
Kitchen pail.
You put a six-pack in there, you take it on picnic. But it's actually, what it's meant to be used for is it's a kitchen pail to leave in your kitchen to put all your food scraps. So as you're cooking, you throw them in there, and then you take that cart, you take it out to your green cart, and you dump it inside there. That's what that is intended for.
And that's good that you brought it up, because we would get a lot of calls where they would set them outside with, you know, their debris. They're like, hey, the trucks never come to dump them. But yeah, there was a lack of communication.
It was literally just left, like, what is this?
So yeah, that's for you guys to use, you know, to transport into the green can. You don't have to use it,
You don't have to
obviously.
use it, it's not mandatory. It's
So if we're scraping plates in the trash can, we're not breaking a law.
No.
Yeah, so organic waste is no longer allowed to go in the black bin. So state law, SB 1383, took effect in 2022. It was passed in 2020, or 2016, actually. The regulations were officially adopted in 2020. So all of our contracts have been updated to include food waste collection in the green waste cart. So the purpose of the kitchen pail is to help facilitate your scraping of the plate into the kitchen pail and transporting to the green cart. No more food waste should go in the black cart ever. You can put it in a plastic bag. We encourage paper or some other bag, but it's not required. Clear plastic is also preferred if you're going to use plastic.
So now it's all food waste, it's not just, because it used to be non-meats.
Yeah. Good question, yeah. So it used to be compostable, so your vegetable scraps and your peelings stuff. Now it's everything. Dairy, meat, pasta, bones, you name it, everything. The only thing we don't want is don't want gallons and gallons of cooking oil. If you're using a lot of cooking oil for something, please save it, and you can take that to one of our household hazardous waste events, and they'll take it as used oil, similar to your motor oil.
So I have a little cheat sheet here. So the items that you can put in as food waste is cheese and dairy products, fruits and vegetables, bread, pasta, rice, and greens, coffee and tea grounds, meat, fish, poultry, and also food soil paper. An example could be like pizza boxes.
We finally have an answer for the pizza box question, right?
We can send you a copy, yeah.
Yeah, we'll send it, then you
Send
can
you a
send it.
record, we can
Yeah.
distribute it out to
Yeah.
Any other I know this is a good Public Works or for UWS?
I do have one last thing regarding the little kitchen pail. If you don't want to use it in the kitchen, because I've heard a lot of people say, I don't want that thing in my kitchen, and I don't like the color, it doesn't match. A lot of people use it when they pull weeds and stuff. That's still organic, so, have that in your yard and then go dump it into your green cart. So that's an option as well.
Or a beer cooler.
Original beer cooler.
We say six-pack, but we don't know that.
Lovely, yeah, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys for having us.
Thank you for your
today.
time.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you for your
joining
time.
us.
Thank you.
Stevie, Catherine, I see you back there. Thank you. Folks, so we have open forum, and we're 8 minutes past 8 o'clock, 10 minutes past 8 o'clock. I got several questions asking about the commercial building and updates on 13727 Inglewood, right? The apartment building that's going up. That is happening. It's paused right now. That is going forward. I know that the folks on 137th Place on James Block have organized and are trying to get permit parking for 137th Place. We are about halfway done with 138th in terms of signatures. We're going to have Public Works come talk to us because in terms of permit parking, whether that really protects us or not, because if that building could eventually request, if enough of the streets become permit parking streets, that we don't want it to come back and bite us, that building all of a sudden can request, even though they don't face a permitted parking street, their 6 or 10 parking spots now are grandfathered into being able to request a permitted parking spot in the neighborhood. I don't know. So I don't know the answer to that. I don't think we can debate it amongst ourselves without guidance from the county. But it's something that Tim brought up, that some people have brought up, that where there's a loophole, people will just naturally exploit it. So I know that there's work already on your block. Brian Underwood is taking that up to search for permits. The best way right now is for us to defend ourselves with permit parking. That's the best solution that I have right now, other than calling the media. But the media, calling the media, this is going to sound a lot like NIMBYism, right? Not in my backyard with the housing problem that we have all over LA County. So it's a strategy that definitely could use some some guidance on an approach that how we want to tackle this with the media. But it's unstoppable. I mean, this is already state law that permits
and exempts some of the parking and density population requirements that allows these buildings. And this is a test building, right, along Inglewood Avenue. Let's see how much, how this goes for this developer for other buildings to go. But if anybody has any questions, yeah, we're happy to discuss. Yeah, Bob.
Do you think you're just gonna have 110 units and 110 vehicles? No, there'll probably be 2 vehicles per unit.
So this is absolutely, Bob. Enforcing, reducing square footage doesn't change the car culture in Los Angeles. You're not going to magically, by allowing 6 parking spots, change the culture, even if it's a 150 square foot micro unit. It could potentially have 2 vehicles. You're absolutely right. Yeah. James, no, please.
Thank you. We appreciate it. All right, so my name is James O'Grady. I live at 4906 West 137th Place. So this is directly impacting me. So for those of you that don't know, there was a state law passed, and the state law, excuse me, effectively overrides whatever your residential zoning might be. So if you live in an R1, meaning 1 house per lot, not multi. So if you've ever been to like North Redondo Beach, and they have like 4 units inside of a land plot, and you go to visit someone there and you have to park 3 blocks away because now all of these single family residences are 4 or 5 unit apartments. So we are R1, right? 1 per lot. So the state has passed a law that says we don't care. We're overriding whatever your local zoning law in the name of creating more density to put more people here because that's what we're doing. So unfortunately, it doesn't matter. And these are being built in Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, here, really wherever they want to put something. And so what's being built at the end of 137th Place is 117 units and will only have 6 parking spaces. There's no longer a parking mandate. That's correct. So as of January 1st of last year, they've completely removed parking mandate, meaning in the past, if you built a 4 unit, you had to have parking for the 2 spots for the 4 unit, and that is now gone. So if they put 117 units, there's no mandate anymore. So the cars will just be all throughout the neighborhood.
No underground parking?
None, 0. 117 units. These are 200 to 300 square foot hostel style apartments, little efficiency studios that are being built right here at the end of our neighborhood. So this is alarming to many of us. This doesn't feel like it is a fit for the neighborhood. It doesn't, I don't care. People want housing, that's great, but yeah, sure, not in my backyard. I mean, this is not effective. So I come from the New York City area. There is no parking mandate in New York City. You build, and there's no reason to own a car in New York City. They have a very effective mass transit system. You can get anywhere in that city through rail car, subway, so on and so forth. That is not the case here. There is 0 effective mass transit, somewhat of a bus system. But other than that, you need a car to get around. I think what they hope is that people are going to bicycle and e-bike. From what I understand in the plans, there's like a big bike rack for 117 units for some of these e-bikes. But really, there's no stopping anybody from owning multiple cars or having multiple people live. So that's what's approved. I've personally called the county, and the county has said that all of the traditional channels, so they would have a public opinion with the developer and say, hey, that's waived because the state says so. Environmental review is completely waived because the state said. So all of the normal channels that says, wait a minute, is this a fit for the neighborhood has been completely waived and exempt, and this thing is just, it's coming. And that is a state law. I can tell you that in LA County there are 6 cities suing the state, saying that you're effectively going to ruin the fabric of our neighborhood by putting whatever you feel like putting anywhere. The entire county of Orange County is suing the state as a result of this. I know that Manhattan Beach brought suit to the state and they lost. The state, they lost that and now are being required to build a 500 unit on Rosecrans and Highland. So this is the same provision that's happening here. So, vote, yeah, this is an election year, this is the state.
Are you guys only doing, how do we get permit parking? Can you just do a couple of streets and get permits?
Yes. So you can do only a couple of streets. What we were trying to do is get Wiseburn designated as a preferential parking district to try and ease the process so that you don't start from scratch, right? Hey, essentially, almost like a self-serve process. You get the signatures for your street, you get the 66% of the signatures of your street. It doesn't have to be a homeowner, it could be a resident. Whoever's occupying that residence. You get 66% of the signatures between La Cienega and Inglewood, they will make that street permit parking.
So the reason why that's advantageous is if 137th or 138th or 142nd become permit parking streets, this facility's address is Inglewood Boulevard. And so they would need permit, and if they don't have it, they don't get to park on the street.
Body shops are gonna have a run for parking spots now, aren't they?
So it's a defensive move. I mean.
But the permit is our defense, really, it's our only.
I know, I'm just saying all those body shops.
Yeah.
They park all over.
Yeah.
Right.
You're right.
Now it's gonna be the body shops and the apartment buildings.
And the apartment buildings and the commercial district, right, in general, people that park and go to the businesses. But it really is our only defense, and I do want guidance from Public Works to make sure that there's no back door into it, because that would just be.
These are, like I said, these are like tenement hostel style, 200 square foot, 117 units.
Who are they anticipating moving it, like, are they moving homeless people?
There's a percentage of like low-income, affordable housing that this will be. But, yeah, these are like hostel-style efficiencies. It's like the YMCA.
So it's gonna be like low rent and everything. Rent is not cheap. So that's what I'm wondering.
But then the other question is, do they have access to our school district?
They do. They do. So the school sent it's an unknown number. So the school was surprised. The school district was surprised, and Lori Casey already left about this. But they sent a strongly worded letter saying, how do you do this without even taking into consideration air quality, pedestrian safety, the enrollment.
All of that
in
has
schools.
been waived,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
completely circumvented.
So yes, they would be allowed, and the exempt, part of the parking exemption was granted with, I think 10 or 12% low-income units. So not the entire building is, only 10%.
17 of 117, from my understanding, are low
Do
income.
we know what the rent is there?
I don't.
When is this supposed to be finished? Market rate? When is this supposed to be completed? Did they say when it's supposed to be completed? The apartment's supposed to be done by.
I suspect it's going to take, but the thing is like they're not subject to the same permit and kind of process.
They're waived, a lot of things, all in with the idea is to get them up and ready and available as soon as possible.
Is this related to the gentleman that came, it's like 6 months ago, and said that there's an initiative in that area and they're changing the zoning and they're testing something out, they're having meetings and they're gonna be voting? Is that, I don't know if anybody recalls, but he came and everybody lit into him, and he left very unhappy. And apparently it's in all incorporated areas that they're starting to do, not just here.
So, I mean, I don't recall if it was regional planning, but, I didn't bring up that Del Air has a different issue, related but different from ours, right? Where they subsume the R1 designation, right, and increase the density of population for a third of Del Air. 1/3 of Del Air is going to be high-density housing. So they're fighting a different battle, related but different battle.
This entire half of Bel Air right here, 120th Street North.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't think they're gonna
Wipe
try
out
to
the
do
map.
that here?
People's homes, residents, wiped out.
Because we face a commercial, I think they considered it. I think not for now, because we have a longer commercial corridor where they're experimenting with this building. Right? I think they see the avenue. I think they see Inglewood Avenue as.
It feels good to know that we're like this petri dish of,
Yeah. Please.
This is contradicting what you guys are talking about, but I sell properties, and I watched the neighborhood over by the Bundy station. It wasn't that great. And through development, it's going up. They're building apartments, they're building restaurants. Like, the neighborhood's improving. I don't know if you've looked at Inglewood Avenue. It looks like shit. Excuse my language. So if you want to build and improve it, I'm kind of for it. Because I don't walk my kids down Inglewood Avenue. But you put a bunch of new buildings down it, you know, and the market rate tenants, I mean, it's.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. I hear what you're saying.
I got it. You don't have to agree with everything. I'm just saying, no.
It's a great idea.
Look, they came up with a plan. They're trying to solve a problem. All right? And the whole thing is, it's ruining the neighborhood. That's what I see. Why not also give the option of it could benefit the neighborhood?
And then if it doesn't?
And then you can adjust the laws there. You know, they're testing stuff out. Housing is ridiculous. The same people complain.
Two-bedroom luxury
that,
apartments, I have no problem.
of course, but if they're trying to build affordable housing, how many people can afford that, Jamie?
Why is it my responsibility that people afford the Los Angeles? Right. You know, there are miles and miles of empty homes in Michigan. They can have them. They'll sell them there for $1.
Got it.
We have 1,000 square miles of desert with nothing.
Yeah,
So
why don't they go there?
California's trying to solve a
There's
problem.
plenty of affordable housing.
Because jobs aren't in the desert, my friend.
And if they're renting,
The jobs are
they're
here.
not paying the high property taxes that all of us are paying. So,
No, they're paying it. The developer's paying it.
but not the individual people that are.
They're paying it through their rent. It gets paid through their rent. They're just not paying the property taxes. Does that make sense? I do actually live 4 houses away from that building.
Then you're going to be one of the people that are negatively impacted.
I am.
One way or the other. And to have that happen when you moved into this community and it was a certain condition and you anticipated to live in an R1 area because you paid to live in that, how is that okay to change and impact everybody else who's moved here for the last, who knows, 5 years?
Yeah.
10 years? 40 years? I don't know.
So I live on 137th Street. I'm the 4th house from the corner. All right? And parking sucks. Because I have a shopping center on one side, the illegal pot shop on the other side. All right? My neighbors each have multiple households in their house, you know, and so parking sucks. I built more on-site parking to accommodate that. Because essentially our driveway became a tandem driveway because we never had parking in front. So it already sucks. I don't know how it's going to get worse. I don't really have a spot in front of my house. So.
It may not get worse for you, but it get worse for a lot of the rest of us around.
I understand.
All it does is spreads around. It's like the second.
My solution was I built a parking space to the side.
Well, I'm just hoping that the people that move in
Look, well, here's the thing. A lot of us haven't rented in a while. A lot of us haven't rented in a while. Getting a rental is actually harder than buying a house. Your credit score has to be like 750 if you're going to get it. There's multiple bids on every single rental. And it's, you know, you can buy a house with a 580 credit score. You know, like.
That's even worse though, to be honest, because if somebody has a high credit score is moving into 200 square feet, they're showing up with cars. They're not showing up with like a 10 space.
Don't doubt that. And they can find a parking space for it.
No, we say
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
We say, build parking. We say
I agree with building parking, but I'm just saying I'm not opposed to redevelopment because it will clean up an aesthetic that looks unpleasant.
this is a terrible way to do it.
There's a million other ways that they can do it.
I'm for that too.
Right, it fits the community that exists here
Yeah.
already. Don't bring a 2025 community into a community.
Oh, it's not even 2025.
It will be when it's done.
Yeah.
That's the point.
If this wasn't like a Starbucks or something, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
We'll come in. It's mixed use. The proposal is mixed use zoning, so it'll be retail bottom, residential top.
Ask the folks in Delaware how their mixed-use project worked out. They ain't too freaking happy with it.
Which one? I haven't been over there.
Aviation, yeah, same setup. I think half of it's vacant.
The one by the, bus terminal?
Yeah, I think half of it's vacant.
The whole thing's vacant?
Half of it, I think, is vacant. They have numerous stores going there, go out of business, close
Yeah.
up, they don't work, you know?
Hmm?
The area doesn't support that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe someday it will, you know?
That's called blight, I'm sorry.
The issue here is this is a state law that basically overrode everything
Yes.
that our local zoning did.
And they have the background over emo in terms of the state law. I don't know, I can't quote them off the top of the head, but they have the genesis in the background and who to write to, right? But we're not, I mean, I'm trying to be realistic here as well, that it's going to happen. We can debate the rights or wrongs of it, you know, amongst ourselves. It's going to happen. It's coming. The defensive posture that we could use to try and not absorb the potential parking that's coming with that building is to go with permit parking. To try and organize and go for permit parking and get the area designated as a preferential parking district, one of 13 preferential parking districts in all of LA County. It would have to be one end to one end. So it would have to be Inglewood to Hacienda, correct? So the people that live west of Ocean Gate are going to say they're not affected, but they will be affected. So it's horrible to use scare tactics, but they will be affected. Absolutely be affected, because the people that are parking at 130, you know, at the building, do you think they're going to care to walk 2 blocks to find parking? They don't care. They'll walk 3 blocks to find a parking spot, right? So they're not affected today, but when we go door to door to knock to ask people, I think it needs to be scripted, especially for the people that are west of Ocean Gate, in terms of it's not affecting you today, but it will affect you. This is coming. It's unstoppable. It's a defensive posture. Doesn't mean you can't have parties. Doesn't mean you can't have guests. Mona.
Which side of Inglewood is it going to be on?
On the unincorporated side.
Then I'm not sure your permit is going to solve anything.
It's the Inglewood address, so you're doing it by street.
I don't think it's going to work.
So I think we have to ask, Mona, so whether the building is grandfathered, right, as part of the unincorporated area, if they get any rights if the area becomes a preferential, preferred parking.
Approved per street.
It's not per street. It's who gets the permit parking. You have to prove that you live on 137 Place.
What if we approved it
right?
before it was built? Like, can we just fast track it? And then the question is, are they?
So the question is, are there any loopholes? And I don't have the answer to that, Mona. And Tim asked the exact same question, right? Are there any loopholes that would allow them, whether we get nominated as a preferred parking district, right, that would allow them to get street parking, right, being a Wiseburn resident, right, even though they're not on a permit-facing street? So that's the question that we need guidance on from Public Works. That could be a loophole.
Tell your neighbors, because part of all this is we're going to lose our no parking on our side. That's part of this. They are? Yeah, so tell that to your neighbors. We're going to lose that.
Yeah, please come up. If you want to say something, there are folks that are online, so I invite you to come up. Yeah.
So this parking problem is not only this construction we're talking about, guys. The ADU laws were changed. Eddie sent out the piece of paper. I read it because I'm planning to build an ADU. Unlike most people building an ADU, I'm actually adding a third across parking driveway. I'm widening my driveway so there's an extra 2 spots on my driveway to give to my neighbor so they have a place to park, because I can't find any parking on the street. But the new law doesn't require you to add parking. That was axed. So I encourage you, if you know somebody building an ADU, encourage them, even though the law doesn't require it. Look at your driveway. My neighbor across the street took the edge of his driveway and he filled it in, so he has another place to park because his kids moved in, rather than trying to take up all the parking on the street. What people need to do is remember they have neighbors. And if you're gonna add an ADU, ignore what the law says that you can do anything. We get it. But be kind to your neighbors. Look at what you can do with your driveway to make it so that you have extra parking on your property and you're not expecting the neighborhood to absorb all the ADU parking. So I encourage everybody, do it in a polite, pleasant way, but I'm doing it. My neighbor did it. His kid moved back home. He put an extra ability to park on his driveway. Others are doing it. I encourage you to talk to your neighbors and be friendly and encourage them. If you're going to build an ADU, fine, that's the law. We appreciate, we get it. My son's 35, he has to have a place to live. I'd like to have my own place again. But I understand the neighborhood has a parking problem. I encourage you to encourage others. If they're building ADUs, I know the law doesn't say you must, but be gracious to each other. And I encourage you, if you're having troubles parking, look at your driveway. Do you have an edge to it that if you just cemented it, some of your problems will go away? Because this thing's going to happen, and you can fight till you're blue. Permit parking is not necessarily going to solve this, because I think they're going to be grandfathered in. And so.
Do we have a contact?
Yeah.
We do?
Yes.
Okay, good to go. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I agree.
Yep.
Can I ask that once you guys organize on your street, make that information available for other streets too?
Right, like it's
Yeah.
We can start,
Yeah.
templatize it.
Yeah, I think we
scale
can,
the process.
yeah, so we can start getting the streets rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like block captains or like, let's just.
Oh, I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Some of us already have that problem.
Right, it's already.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, no, it's
What's
it's
gonna
already there.
happen like on Shoup and Ocean?
We gotta get more creative in how we use our property.
So they're under the same restrictions, so if preferred parking, it would have to be lengthwise, so it would have to be also going to achieve road strips, end to end.
But one side, Ocean Gate is no parking anywhere, right?
Right.
Yeah, one full side is.
Right.
Yeah, there's parking on both sides.
On both sides of the chute.
Yeah.
People, I think by people's nature, kind of what Mona was saying, is, they almost become self-absorbed, they become almost very selfish, certain things. So I can give you an example. You guys all know 5160 across from me, the big five-bedroom, four-bath house that got built. Biggest house in Wiseburn, well, it got sold. So people that bought it came from a very sheltered area, gated community, to an absolute culture shock to move in over here. They had never seen a crime report ever from LAPD. Now suddenly the sheriff has shared crime information. It freaked them out. They left.
Well, they did?
So long story short, yeah, they left. They went back to their sheltered community where they came from. So now all this happened, and all blew up in me. Now what do I have? Who do they rent to? 620-somethings that pay $1,000 a month. I got Teslas all down the street. I got motorcycles. I got RVs. This is it's crazy. This is how it is. We are saturated. Our neighborhood is saturated, and the state and the county doesn't seem to give a shit. They just want to more and more and more and more and more because they're under pressure for a homeless problem that they've created. There's a lot of words, in my opinion. So here we are. We're the victims.
Not true.
So back to what I was saying earlier. Think long and hard of how you vote and who you vote for. It matters. It truly, truly matters. Adam Schiff, our senator's up for grabs, our supervisor's up for grabs, our DA's up for grabs. It'll take years and years and years, but if we all vote for people who actually might make a difference, it might actually help in 20 years. Nothing we can do right now, and he's absolutely right, that project is done. It's gonna happen, there's no way around it. But we can do steps and do things to try to mitigate it as best we can. Permit parking is definitely one option.
So we'll try and get them to come and talk to us, but we have a contact at Public Works that deals with traffic and parking to see how we can get organized around it and whether or not answer the grandfathering question, right? Which is that's the elephant in the room, whether or not if all the streets got permit parking by virtue of being in the unincorporated area in Wiseburn, if that would give them
Right,
parking.
self-existence. That doesn't open, because you're grandfathering them in
Right, that's
to do
my
the same
concern.
thing that everyone else is doing. They can park. You just, they're gonna have 117 units, you're gonna have permit parking, and that solves nothing. I guess another question would be, as a neighborhood association, do we pool funds and hire legal counsel? But we can argue the permit or argue why this, if there's,
Here's the reason I don't think you can, and that's why I think you would lose that. That is part of, that part of the street is in Wiseburn. And so to say that you would have.
yeah, but it's on Inglewood, I think that's what's
But
interesting.
Inglewood is part of Wiseburn.
Yeah.
So it's a zigzag along Inglewood between Hawthorne and the unincorporated area. It's not a
But
clean
the
cut
area
line.
you're talking
I think it's
about-
worth asking. I think it's worth asking.
Yeah.
We're a nonprofit. We're not really, yeah. Say again?
It's Wiseburn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
If it was blocked
No,
over,
but
it'd be
that-
Hawthorne.
But that's why I asked which side of the street.
There's a little carve out. I don't know if that maps.
Well, no, but that's on 137th Street, so the Zam.
Oh, that's, yeah, that's,
Zam Zams and, Al, or whatever,
yeah,
that restaurant and everything, that's technically in Hawthorne.
right.
But where you're talking about
Is
is
Wiseburn.
Right.
So,
The
in my
legitimate,
experience, it's just the county makes more money.
all of those new residents could come to the neighborhood watch.
As long as they pay, they get permit.
I think we need to ask, because they face a certain street. I mean, that would involve what, changing, trying to get permit parking along Inglewood.
Or
Right.
say that that's.
And say between El Segundo and Rosecrans. Right, for the, that's, so we have to, I think we have to ask, and we need to be careful and smart about it, how we ask, too. To not set precedent or give ideas. Yeah, lots to think about.
Motion to close.
Yes, so motion to close indeed. Second the motion passes. Thank you everyone for joining us.
I forgot to share the best part
Oh,
of my
right.
new neighbors. Because a $1.7 million house, it's not theirs, they don't dare do their habits inside, so they all go outside, sit in their car and smoke dope.
On, 140th?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Everybody smells dope. Everybody.
But it's only legal inside your house.
I
No,
know.
you don't have to think about it. No, they.
Kim, it's only legal inside your house.